JP Morgan says the impeachment threat is not a reason to overhaul your investments just yet. A strategist note to clients reads in part, despite the drama this process will inject into the rest of the president's first term, there is little justification for altering asset allocation now, unless one thinks that this issue is the decisive one that tips the U.S. economy into sub-trend growth and or a profits recession. Let's bring in Jeffrey Kleintop. He is the chief global strategist at Charles Schwab. Jeffrey, we are awaiting this press conference between President Trump and Ukrainian president as well, and yet we're seeing the Dow right now still in positive territory. How do you see this impeachment risk playing out in the markets?
Well, we do have a little history to look at, and it's fairly limited, 2 occasions, but the market in both of those occasions of impeachment, both under Nixon and Clinton, simply continued the pattern that was in place before and, of course, during and then after the impeachment. We saw that for Clinton, the trend was up, and we saw that for Nixon, the trend was down. It really didn't change the underlying factors in the market and the economy, which were not so good under Nixon and better under Clinton. And that's what we've got to assess here, really the fundamental economic backdrop. And that's more tied to Trump's trade relationships and those issues, as opposed to this election-related discussion with Ukraine.
That does raise the question about whether, in fact, if President Trump is having to deal with impeachment talks domestically, how much of that will be a distraction from the actual trade talks that happen with China, and whether China will see this as leverage as well. How do you break that down?
I don't see it much affecting the White House. It might result in a stream of tweets, but I don't see it affecting the trade discussions. I see it affecting Congress. The House will likely get bogged down in these issues if they pursue them, and that means there's very little chance that other legislation would get passed, like a maybe drug price control legislation that might have been on the docket here sometime ahead of the next election. That seems unlikely now. That could be a benefit to the healthcare sector, though it's not showing up today. Healthcare is one of the worst performing sectors. It could also mean that Biden's chances suffer a little bit as the headlines around him and what he might have done or might not have done weigh on his candidacy and instead elevate Elizabeth Warren. That could be a negative for the financial sector, given her outspoken criticism there. Yet financials are leading the market today. So again, I think these are background issues related to the impeachment. I don't think it'll change the trajectory on trade or the economy overall.
Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.